Merry Christmas, along with Mike Renner. I'm Steve Palazzolo. Today discussing the top NFL draft prospects playing in the college football playoff. We did a full article over at ESPN. You can get that as part of your ESPN Plus package, and I believe it's over at ProFootballFocus.com as well. We ranked the top 50, Mike. That's tough to do. Let's at least discuss the top 10, and starts with the guy that you just did a film room on, also on the YouTube channel, Quinnen Williams from Alabama, our number one prospect in the college football playoff.
Yeah, in my opinion, the best defensive tackle prospect we've done in our time doing PFF college, the last 5 seasons of college football. He is just utterly dominant. The grades back that up. Highest graded defensive player in all college football, highest graded defensive tackle we've ever graded in our system. Versus run or pass, it really doesn't matter. Quickness, speed, hand usage, power. I mean, he's really the complete defensive tackle prospect. He's, in my opinion, one of the sure things in this draft.
Alabama churns out these guys that are just technically sound and they can two-gap and shed blocks and play the run, and then Quinnen is just a whole different player because he could do absolutely everything.
The fact that he didn't play until this year is one of the craziest things I've ever heard in college football. The fact that Alabama's defensive line is so stacked,
they're so good
that you can get a top 3 player like him. Just have him play a couple hundred snaps last year.
He was really good on his limited time last year and just exceptional this season. The number 2 players also at Alabama, also in the trenches, Jonah Williams, a guy who stepped in as a true freshman, probably outplayed Cam Robinson when he was a true freshman during Cam Robinson's draft year, and he's continued to get better.
Yeah, he started right tackle that year as a true freshman, switched to left tackle and struggled a little bit. It's not as easy a switch as a lot of people have you believe, but this season he's put it all back together. Highest graded offensive lineman in the country this season, 90.1 overall grade. Only been beaten a handful of times in pass pro all year. So technically sound, very strong, both run and pass. I mean, what they have in the trenches at Alabama is special year in, year out, but those two with Quinnen Williams and Jonah Williams are probably as good as we've seen in Alabama in Nick Saban's time.
Let's go back to the defensive line. Clemson's interior defensive line is outstanding, and it starts with Dexter Lawrence. Maybe a toss-up between Dexter Lawrence and our next guy, Christian Wilkins, but Lawrence, 340, 350 pounds, but not just a big run stopper, he can also push the pocket.
Yeah, 350-pound men don't move like that. Usually you don't want your guys being 350 pounds, especially in college, with how many snaps you have to play, how quick the game is at that level, but he's one of the few that can get it actually done, and like you mentioned, can rush the passer as well. He is a handful for any offensive line, especially the ones you see in college football. That a little lighter, a little slighter, he's a dominant player.
3 straight years, 90, 86, and then creeping up to 90, 89.8 right now in PFF grading. So the 3-year production is outstanding for Dexter Lawrence. Coming in at number 4, back to Alabama, it's Thompson, a free safety who, again, just like Quinnen Williams, didn't really play a whole lot last year, but immediately made an impact for Alabama's defense early in the season.
Yeah, the fact that they can have these two guys basically on the bench this season to go still win the national championship, and now they come back, and there might be both top 10 picks in Quinnen Williams and Thompson. Pretty ridiculous. Thompson's range at free safety is as good as it gets in college football. He's made some highlight reel plays over the course of the season. He just has freakish sort of athletic ability that you don't see a lot.
And shows up at all different alignments. Yes. That's what I've loved from watching Thompson's game. Back to that Clemson defensive line, Christian Wilkins, who we mentioned. Coming into the year, we said, look, he's an excellent run defender, hasn't rushed the passer as well as you'd expect from a first-round pick. At least took a big step forward in that department, grading at 91.8, but still maybe some question marks to his game?
A little question marks to his game in terms of how he can rush the passer. He's not a finisher. He's more of a disruptor, but at the same time, he's been very good at disrupting this season. I think he's a lot stronger. He plays a lot stronger than he did a season ago. He looks more explosive. He looks like he's really refined his game after he decided to come back. And I think the hype around him never really was as good as he was actually playing, and now he's finally met it. I think he might actually be underrated at this point because people sort of backlashed against all the hype and said, oh, no, he's not this top 3.
We did. We backlashed against the hype until we saw the grade. Yeah.
And now he's been utterly fantastic this season. So props to him. He's going to be first-round pick as well.
We've watched him grow, and now he has the number 2 grade behind Quinnen Williams among those interior defensive linemen. Also on the defensive interior, we finally get to Notre Dame. Jerry Tillery, a guy who had a very good true freshman season, was pretty good the last couple of years, but really emerged this past year.
Yeah, another guy like Wilkins who really put it all together this year, his senior season, has always had the tools. 6'6", and maybe almost 6'7", with very long arms, 300 pounds. They wanted to move him to offensive line because he's so so fits that profile of what an offensive tackle could be, and they've churned out so many offensive tackles. But he wanted to play D-line, and it's finally paying off here with how well he's played this season. top 3 pass rushing grade. Really refined his pass rushing moves this year, and it's had some games where he's been unblockable. Had a 3 or 4 sack game earlier in the season. He's just been very tough to block for basically anyone in college football.
All right, coming in at number 7 among draft prospects in the college football playoff, Oklahoma quarterback Kyler Murray.
We're not talking about baseball draft prospects.
We're
talking
not
about NFL,
baseball.
right? Okay.
This is only NFL. I did a whole video with Zach Robinson right here on the YouTube channel breaking down in detail his NFL draft prospects. But when we watched him throw the ball, continue to get better throughout the season, fringe first round, second round type of player maybe?
The NFL game is not one necessarily from the pocket anymore. He has this very dynamic skill set that if you're just pigeonholing him into, oh, he's 5'9", he's not going to be able to execute these passing concepts we want, then your talent evaluation is off at this point. That's not where the NFL is. He can succeed in an NFL offense. You'd have to scheme to him. You couldn't just toss him in New England's offense and ask him to do what Tom Brady does. You have to do a little something different. But if you do like what Oklahoma does for him, you can have a successful NFL offense because of how talented he is with his legs, how talented his arm is as well.
I would love to see him give it a shot. Kyler Murray, potential first-round pick, at least
yeah.
from our eyes, the number 1 passing grade and rushing grade among all quarterbacks this year. His favorite target, of course, Marquise Brown, a speed receiver. It's a deep wide receiver class this year. I don't know if he's going to land in the first round, but he definitely brings a different skill set that some of the bigger receivers around college football are bringing to the table.
Yeah, I think separation is the name of the game in the NFL, and he can do that because of how shifty he is and how much speed he brings to the table as a downfield threat. The concerning part with him, though, has only had a few contested catches all season long. At the NFL level, you basically have to make contested catches. You have to have double digit if you're going to be a 100-catch guy. If you're going to be an actual number 1 receiver in the NFL, you have to be making plays with a cornerback draped on you. He just hasn't shown that much yet because of how much that Oklahoma offense schemes guys wide open. You don't get that sort of separation in the NFL. You don't get just so many open throws. So more contested catches. He'll definitely get some chances at some contested catches, though, against Alabama secondary.
A little like Will Fuller in that respect. Speed, but maybe not the contested catch guy. We got 2 more to get through. Julian Love at Notre Dame, another cornerback, a guy that broke out this year. He's getting a little bit of first-round hype, and he graded extremely well for us.
Yeah, not a great athlete, but he's a bigger corner and has great ball skills, great at recognizing when the throw's coming to him, breaking on balls, that sort of thing. 19 forced incompletions this season, 7th most of any cornerback in the nation, and he's been targeted a lot. Teams have been picking on him. He's still been stingy, so a lot to like with him, but again, he doesn't have the high-level athleticism that gets you excited about top of the first round. He's probably a step behind that.
The number 10 player in the college football playoff, as far as the NFL draft goes, Clelin Ferrell. Back to that Clemson defensive line. He's an edge defender. I've seen him get top 10 to 15 hype. I don't think he's that good, but he did improve this year, and he's a solid pass rusher.
Yeah, Ferrell reminds me of a few years ago, Clemson defensive end Kevin Dodd coming out, where they have the tools. They look the part, big, long, production not quite there, the explosiveness not quite at that level. So looks the part to some degree, and I get why the NFL will like him, but just it hasn't quite matched up as of yet. So he can make himself some money with these games in the college football playoff if he goes to town like Kevin Dodd did, and that's why he got pushed up some boards. So Ferrell, a name to watch, but at this point, still, like I said, 10th on our board here.
49 total pressures this year, 86.1 pass rush grade, and as you said, good, not great. Any other names to watch as far as NFL draft prospects go? Guys that can really make a move, perhaps, in this.
Do you want me to name some more Notre Dame guys?
I'll just list your favorite Notre Dame guys.
I mean, Notre Dame has some linebackers in Tavon Cooney and Drew Tranquil who are NFL potential. Julian Aguilar probably won't declare this year, but he's in a breakout pass rushing season for them. His brother, Romy Aguilar, plays for the Lions here. So they have some defensive talent that might be in the NFL someday. You got any more guys?
Yeah,
Alabama obviously has just everyone.
Well, I'm watching, because of Alabama, I'm watching Oklahoma,
Yeah.
right tackle Cody Ford, left tackle Bobby Evans. Both of those guys going to be tested against Alabama's fierce defensive front. So let us know who you guys are watching as far as NFL draft prospects go. But that's our top 10, and the entire top 50 is over at ProFootballFocus.com.